Hello beauties. So join me in Shavasana, and just up front I probably desperately needed a holiday when I recorded this, because I somehow managed to record this not on normal speed but slow motion. Here, turn your head to the right please. Anyway, so this is a class in which I am taking it even more slowly and you'll be taking it more slowly with me. I already did a rather slow class with long holds, which obviously is super challenging in a very different way than faster flows are. Turn your head to the other side. But yeah, this will be even more challenging for you because of the speed that the video was recording at. And you're welcome. See this as a workshop post, well, if you're watching this as it's coming out, a New Year's sort of workshop. Hug your right knee in towards you and just pull it close to the chest. Feel that stretch into your glute. And then nice and slowly come into a twist. And as always, you want to make sure that twist works for you. You don't have to be where I am or anywhere near there. So you could bend both legs. You could let that right leg be much, much further away from your chest. I'm not holding that half as long as I thought. Right into a hip opener, right ankle on top of the left knee. And if you feel like it, if it's not too early, then you might pull that left leg in towards you and push your right knee away from you. Straight over to the other side into a glute stretch first. To hold, to have and to hold for a little moment. And then taking yourself into that twist, Margat asana, monkey pose. And softening into that twist. So we've just started. It's more about warming up the body, getting to know, feel for our body today, right now. And don't overstretch. Cool. And then Suchirandrasana, the eye of the needle, where we're pushing that left knee gently away and maybe pulling the right leg in towards us. And straight from here into Anand Balasana, happy baby, where as always we want to make sure that we're not just focusing on the hips and everything below the hips, but also on that comfort, that comfortable feeling in the shoulders and neck in particular. So whole of the body, trying to get the whole of the back to be in touch with the ground. And if it can't be, then it should be the lower back gently rising with the buttocks going up. So just making sure no tension is in the body. We'll take this into a straight leg position. Obviously not holding on to the feet if that gets too much. You can bring the hands to the backs of the legs as well. And then gently taking yourself back. You might bring your hands to your back and into Halasana. If you need them there, as always, there's options to bring the hands elsewhere, to the feet or behind your back. This is going really well with me being so slow. I've got much more time to talk. Isn't that lovely? You're like, oh my God. No, I'll keep it to a minimum, I promise. We're going to come up into Naukasana, sometimes called Navyasana as well. So a boat. And make sure your shoulders are relaxed. And maybe if you're looking up a little bit, that can relax the neck a bit more. We're twisting from here. That right hand can be off the ground, but keep it there if you need it for support on the ground. And twist the other way. And then coming to sit on the heels. Start rolling into your shoulders, or roll the shoulders to the back and down, and then dropping the ears from side to side. And then turn your head from side to side. Come to the right, to the left. And then draw a circle. As always, a full circle is not maybe comfortable for everyone. If you do it, obviously both directions, half circles fine as well. Arms up, nice and high. Spread your fingers, walk the fingertips up towards the sky, and then raising the shoulders and lowering them while trying to keep the arms long rather than bending at the elbows. And chin to chest, hands interlocked behind the head, elbows towards each other, and then dropping down, rounding the back as much as you can. Coming up, pushing the elbows to the back, dropping the head into the hands, and from here taking your chin from one side to the other. Right hand drops, left arm goes over to the right side. Look up and over to the other side. And then hands onto the shoulders, drawing circles with the elbows. It's not that slow, is it? I'm rather pleased with that. Arms forwards, round your back, pull your left wrist to the right side, and then your right wrist to the left side. And raise the arms and drop the right hand, fingertips on the ground or they walk away from you, and that left hand is gently letting the ear come closer to the shoulder, and we may flex that right hand, raising the fingertips. That's obviously deeper, it's not for everyone. And then change sides. So our right hand now adds a little bit of weight rather than too much pressure on the hand, on the head even, while that left hand moves a little bit and then might end on that flexion. And we release, round the back, drop the head. And from here, interlock the hands. Squeeze your shoulder blades, hands all the way up and then over to the right side. You want to make sure that they're not going towards the back, but keep pushing them towards the head as you go to the side, other side of course. And release. I think this is where it's starting to slow down. Ah, yes. I have a feeling this is going to be a lot of fun. Right, we're going to make our way onto all fours. As slowly as me, please. So lining your knees and hips and your wrists and shoulders. Spread your fingers wide, fingertips dig into the ground. Just very aware in that Bharadvajasana. And we arch the back and look up, round the back, and drop the head. And then if you want to, as slowly as me, guiding the breath in and starting to arch as you do that. You could hold at the top as well, but only if it feels comfortable to hold the breath. And exhale, you round your back and drop the head. And now more than ever, it's important that you don't try to mimic my rhythm, which is of course a little bit skewed in this video, but use your rhythm. And if you want to slow down the breath more and more and more, it needs to make sense for your body. On the next inhale, raise your right arm and maybe look up to the sky. And then as you hold, you want to make sure that you're comfortable in the neck, for example, but in the rest of the body, of course, as well. Longer hold, particularly long for obvious reasons. But yeah, drop the head whenever you need to. And we release back into Padmanasana, into tabletop pose. And I'm assuming we're going to go into the other side straight away, raising that left arm and looking up, if that makes sense. Depends on how much you're opening up here as well, of course. Long, slow breaths into the left side of the body. And then slowly let the hand come down and back onto all fours. On your next inhale, a slow inhalation, and maybe you'll go a bit faster than me. Stretch your right leg out and then slowly bring your left arm to the front, Dandayam Padmanasana, balancing tabletop. Of course, this may be quite easy for you to hold. Some people will struggle with balance here, and that's completely normal. If your balance is really there and you feel you can, you could close your eyes and try to stay aware of everything you're doing here, very intentional in that right arm and shoulder, not letting yourself sink. Keeping the neck relaxed, and we release. Going straight to the other side on an inhale. Let's send that left leg to the back, right arm to the front. Hold, breathe. Decide if you might like to close the eyes here for the whole time, or maybe just for a couple of seconds to try. Slowly release, Padmanasana, tabletop pose. And then tuck your toes under, raise the knees off the ground, straighten the legs. And as you do, drop your head, push your hips up, push the shoulders to the back, and start gently walking one heel and then the other into the mat. Legs, as always, are trying to get nice and long, but they can stay a little bend in the legs. And don't know what I'm doing there. Don't look too closely. So bend in the legs is fine. Heels off the ground is fine. Focus more on the straightness in the arms and spine. Nice and tall, like a strong mountain. And shoulders stay strong as well. And feeling the breath. Come, let it go. Keep breathing. Gentle breaths in and out, and probably the longest part of that asana we've been holding. Roll forwards into a plank from here, and we could bring the knees to the ground here. You might want to start that plank as a full one, remembering shoulders stay strong, and as and when it gets too much, and chances are it will with the speed of the video, you can just bring the knees to the ground, keeping the arms long. Just working a little less deep. But yeah, whenever you feel you're ready to let go. No one's judging, no one can even see you. So decide where you want to be, where it is the most healthy place for you to be. This here was recorded before the Christmas break. And I then had a break of a couple of weeks. If, like me, you are seeing this after a little break, take it easier and don't think you need to do everything that's being shown in the video, because for one, it is much slower and things creep up on us. As beautiful as it is to hold asanas, slowly release, knees to the ground if you weren't already there. And then nice and gently bend your arms, elbows in, let your chest and chin drop to the ground. Ashtanga Namaskar. Checking if that distance between the chest and feet is right, or if the and knees, of course, as well, or if you want to slide the knees a little bit further to the back. How does that arch feel in your body? Now, it may very well be that you want to stay here, that this is already too much. Maybe take a break then. If you want to deepen, raise your arms, reaching the fingertips towards the ceiling. Raise your toes towards the ceiling too. Or in my case, really the sky. Windows above me. And hold there too. In that variation. No longer an 8-part salute. Two of these areas are no longer, or parts of the body are no longer in touch with the ground. We may even reach for our feet, so this is where it gets a little bit crazy, and you might decide not to go for that bind. If you've managed to grab hold of the feet, even if that meant bringing the feet apart or the knees apart, bring them back together if you can. And draw that stretch into the shoulder. Again, take a break if you need it. It's a long time for your chin, for example, as well. Release from here and slowly make your way into Bhujangasana, or a variation of it. So you decide how high, how low. Relax the legs, the feet, tops of the feet on the ground. And then gently turn your chin to the right side, right shoulder. And as you do, keep squeezing your shoulder blades, keep pushing the elbows towards each other. And then over to the other side, chin to the left shoulder. And hands in line with the shoulders as we come up is important, because then they're in the right position for us. We may come even higher. Again, your variation of Bhujangasana. It doesn't have to be deep yet. Feels like we've been doing this for a long time because we've been holding for a long time. But that doesn't mean that we're quite ready for such a deep arch in our back. The more you'll feel that stretch into the stomach as well. And then nice and gently tuck your toes under, drop your chin to the chest, push yourself up into mountain pose, Pardvatasana, also known as Adho Mukha Svanasana, of course, or downward dog. Longer hold. So use that time to really just be here. Don't let the mind wander. Stay with how the body feels, how warm the shoulders might be feeling here. Or the hands as well, a connection of the hands on the ground. And then from here we are going to raise our right leg. Boy, this is slow. Maybe we can make this a competition as to who can be slower than me here. No, of course, no competition in yoga. Just long holds and take your time getting there. Even more important to be sure that you're comfortable in that three-legged dog. And that you stay comfortable as you hold. And maybe take a moment to check on both shoulders. What are they doing? Is that right shoulder engaged? And is the left shoulder strong? Are you still thinking of that length? Now flex the foot, drop the heel towards the buttocks. Knee pushes up towards the sky. Heel pushes towards the buttocks. And absolutely and 100% stay here. Keep pushing the shoulders to the back. And I'm pleased because of the the speed of this, or lack thereof, that we're not going into that bind of right hand and right foot. Holding that for a long time would be a challenge. Look to the front and then send that right foot to the front. Stepping forwards. And brilliant, sinking the hips down, left heel off the ground, and we raise our right arm. And as we did when we were on all fours, we could raise the head up to look to the sky, but it needs to make sense for your body. Long, slow breaths into the body as you slowly come out of that twisted lunge, bringing the right hand down. And then from here, release your left knee to the ground. That should feel quite nice, quite a relief. Untuck your toes and keeping the hips low, keeping them from coming up and to the back. Raise your arms, straighten the torso. Could add a little mini arch and you can raise that left knee off the ground. And of course, even harder to hold that if the left knee is off the ground. Just checking if you did raise that left knee, that your left top of the foot is on the ground rather than you having tucked the toes under. Would be the more common version, I would say. That would be Ashwasanthalanasana. You were in a variation of Anjanyasana. And breathe into the body. In and out through the nose. And we slowly release. And then gently from here, hips up and over to the back. Straightening your right leg. all the way if you can. Let yourself drop down. Let your torso get heavy. And if you're still here with me and you haven't fallen asleep, we're going to take it into a twist here too, so that left arm hand stays on the ground, the arm lengthens, and we raise the right arm. And of course we adapt here to anything that works for us, but what we want to try and do is lengthen that right leg as much as possible as we did before, but also make sure that we're gently pushing that right hip down. So see where your hips are comfortable, because as you're opening up, you want to get more out of that twist. You want to push that right hip down to increase that twist into your back. And then in slow motion, like me, lower your right hand, slide out that left foot and reach for your right big toe, for example. See if you can bind here and raise that right leg, opening up. And of course, it's absolutely fine not to have that bind, because that's, really quite involves a lot of flexibility here. If that is for you, go here. If not, then that right arm can go up and over to the front while the right leg goes up and maybe over to the back a little bit. You want to open up into the hip here rather than collapsing. So wherever that takes you, and then we can all do that bind, I think, sending the foot to the back and the hand to the back and focusing on that arch in the back and opening up into the hip a little bit more. Here too, we've got the option of working with our gaze, with our drishti, which of course is so much more than just the gaze. But you could look down, that may make it easier for you to balance. But if you can, you can look up. You could even drop the head towards the back. And then we're getting ready to release from here. That left foot goes back in. We look down to the ground. So I'll make it a little bit more challenging maybe with that foot coming in. But don't you worry, we're going to let go of the hand. Hand comes back onto the ground, right leg stays high. And then from here, bend your arms, elbows in as before, but now we could hover the chest and chin or slowly release to the ground and focus on that right leg going up and over to the front. So take your time here in coming down, hover for as long as you want. And then guiding that right foot as far towards the front as you can. And really, really slowly release from here. And as the leg comes down, the hips go down and the chest comes up. Coming back into our King of Cobras, Bhujangasana. Check on your neck. Is it comfortable? Are the elbows still digging into your sides? toes tuck under, we push the hips up and make our way into Parvadasana or Adho Mukha Svanasana. In fact, called triangle too in Kundalini. And all of them make sense in their own way. Triangle, easy to see. Mountain, easy to see as well. Adho Mukha Svanasana, that downward dog, even more so, and that's how I learned it, when the head actually touches the ground. That's when it looks to me like a dog. And of course, it's not just any dog. It's a symbol of Shiva as the Lord of dogs. Lord of dogs, Lord of ghosts as well. So that is our Shiva here. Similarly, fish pose is not just any fish. So sometimes these translations don't give you that the full meaning, and then you need to know the story behind them, and then you can grasp them in their full beauty. And now we'll raise our left leg and we point the toes towards the sky. We hold this one. We remember we held that for a little bit on the other side as well. Nice and long. Remember that strength in the shoulders. And then nice and slow, no rush at all, flex your foot, drop the heel. I think we know by now that there is no need to rush in this class. It's a super slow one. And keeping the head dropped. If anything, you're looking up from underneath that arm rather than above it, of course. And then well done, well deserved. Next posture, we're going to look forwards and step that left foot to the front, sinking the hips down slowly, letting that right leg be very long. We might even step that right foot a little bit further back, and we open up to the left side. And beautifully held, I'm sure. We're going to release from here, bringing that left hand to the ground, and nice and gently, take your time, drop the right knee to the ground and make sure that right foot is comfortable. So no longer tucking the toes under, just relaxing here, top of the foot on the ground. And as the arms go up, just make yourself comfortable here in Anjaneyasana. And again, long hold. So you may decide to just keep that right knee on the ground. If you feel that you can, even if just for a little while, you can press the top of the right foot into the ground and raise the right knee off the ground. If you did that on the other side, then maybe just give that a try. But yeah, take it easy. This is a long hold, and we'll be just as patient as Anjani, the little Hanuman, in learning from the sun god. And we haven't held for thousands of years, which is how long it took Hanuman to learn from Surya. But we slowly released. That was a long hold, and well done. And we slowly push the hips to the back to straighten the left leg. As before, that leg is going to become as straight as it can, but we make sure that we leave a little tiny micro bend in the leg if we need it. And we let ourselves get heavy here, dropping towards that left leg in Ardha Hanuman. And not much further from here, just opening up to the left side. So again, opening up to the same side as we did in our lunge, from our lunge, raising that arm and looking up if that's comfortable, and trying to maybe just play around with the hips, wiggle the hips a little bit, and see where you're comfortable. And then remember, for our next one, don't bind at all cost. Sometimes that's not really advisable. So you could just take yourself into a variation of this side plank, supported side plank. Slide your right foot out, raise the left leg. There could be a bind, but really let go if you feel that you can't, that you can't really open up here. You want to be open in the chest, open in the hips. If that works better for you, if that leg is not so high, if there's not that connection of hand and foot, but that leg is far further away towards, in my case, towards the garden, then just let go. And then now we can start bending the leg, and this is where everyone can hold onto the foot, take that arm and foot to the back, stretching into chest and shoulder, and then going into that lovely little gentle compression of the lower back, and focusing more on the hip as well. Now, as you get more and more stable, you might decide to drop the head to the back, but you could, of course, for more stability, but also maybe more comfort in the neck, drop the head. And everyone's going to join there now. Slide your right foot in. So take your time with this. We want to hold here, not forever. We release the hand. That left leg stays high as we slowly come downwards, and take a little moment to hover the chin and chest over the ground before we release. And remember, elbows come in towards us rather than going out. And then gently taking ourselves into Bhujangasana from here. Cobra, King of Cobras. Rising, arching, sliding the shoulders down, far away from the ears. Neck relaxed, head high. In your own time, tuck the toes under, push yourself up into Parvatasana. And raise your right leg. Toes go up towards the sky. Disappear for me. As you stay, again, make sure that your shoulders are relaxed. Now look to the front. Get that right knee to guide the way to the front. And then step the foot in between the hands. This time our left foot comes to the ground. And we make our way up into our warrior one. And as we may have guessed with my love for long-held asanas, this is a long hold, and even longer, of course, because of the recording. So if you like, close your eyes, tune into what's going on in your body. But if you feel that you're more in the moment, if you open the eyes, then absolutely do that. And here at this point, I'd like to say extremely well done for this really long hold. I know they're not to be underestimated, even though lots of people do. We could keep the eyes closed as we open up into Warrior 2. We could open them and then close them again. We could have kept the eyes open this whole time, and that's completely fine as well. Check that hands are in line with the shoulders. And settle into another long hold. So I often get that question of which style of yoga is the hardest, and I think most people who've been practicing with me for a while will know that I'm not a fan of these styles. The styles really just say something about how you're practicing the postures, and there are too many styles that are known, but also styles that anyone can make up themselves, because there is as many yogas as there are people in the world. There's not the one way to practice it. There's so many different ones, and one of them will be right for you, but you are likely to know that better than anyone else. So when it comes to how fast, it doesn't mean that one particular style that may be very known for being tough is the toughest for you, but also in how it's being taught. Some people find it really challenging to focus on really fast movements. Other people find it very challenging to stay. It could also be challenging for the body. Some things are more challenging for the mind. So I find, and I often say that the holding of postures is really, really underrated. People think, well, yeah, the posture's fine, but then when you stay in it, it becomes a completely different thing. And that's what we're really trying to do here, to just be with the body, all the sensations as they get deeper and deeper. And we are working harder and harder, and the arms are getting heavier and heavier, and yet we're staying, and we're right here. We're not somewhere else. We're not trying to distract us in any way. And with that in mind, I don't want to distract with too much talk. So just focus on your breath. And then let's take ourselves from that second warrior pose into our triangle pose, or Trikonasana. Obviously, Tri is the number 3 in Sanskrit. So we're straightening the right leg, dropping the right arm and raising the left arm. You can see I've got my eyes closed, but of course prioritize your balance. And if that means opening the eyes, do open the eyes. We can guide our chin gently towards the ceiling, towards the sky. And we can decide whether we want to hold on to that foot or leg with the right hand, or if we might want to hover the hand. Without any rush, because why would we rush now when we've been staying for so long? Lower that left hand. We're going to bend the right leg. Hand comes to the ground, and we're going to drop the left knee to the ground. And as we did it with Anjani Asana, we're going to relax the top of the foot, but then we're coming into a little twist here. So walk that right foot out, sink the hips further down, not too low for that left hip, and push the right knee out. And we may stay on the hands. We could come down onto the forearms too. Drop the head, get comfortable here. We may have guessed this is going to be another long hold, so hold for long. And then, as if this wasn't enough, yes, I'm still here. We're going to slowly come up and not just release yet, but twist from here. So that right knee might come a little bit further out even. And our torso opens to the right side. Right hand sometimes feels good on the right knee to gently press it out. But we could also, I don't know why yes, of course, this is this is the other option. We could raise the left foot. Makes it easier if you're raising the hip in the process. So once you've got that bind here, right hand to left foot, you sink the hips down again, of course, focusing more on the right than the left. I take my hat off to everyone who's still here, because that really was very, very long. We are going to release. Make sure you do that slowly, honestly. Such a long hold. Take it easy, take it gentle on your body. And as you step back into Parvatasana, just notice how you feel. And if Parvatasana isn't where you want to be, even though we can walk it out, we can shake it off, we can do whatever we need to do, maybe you'd like a child's pose here. Maybe all you want is Balasana, down onto the knees, dropping down and relaxing. You decide. And then we're slowly coming to the other side. So if you were in Balasana, make your way back up into your mountain so that you're getting ready to raise that left leg, which we'll all do together now. Left leg goes up, higher and higher as the shoulders keep pressing towards the back and up. Just as we did on the other side, we're going to flex our left foot and let the heel come down towards the butt cheek. The knee pushes up. Feel that stretch into the quad. And then take it forwards from here. The knee guides the way to the front. We step to the front. We ground our right heel so that we're in the perfect place to start from, to take ourselves into Virabhadrasana. And adjusting into that perfect warrior for you could be done with the eyes open or closed, hips gently aligning. That right leg is straight. We make sure that the right knee is comfortable. And as we're sinking into the left knee, we also make sure that it's comfortable here and it doesn't push towards the right side. If anything, it gently presses out to the left. And then the left hip presses to the back. Arms long, spine long. And any sign of being a little bit wobbly in general or on this side, you'll know best. Listen to that message from your body and open the eyes as you open up into Warrior Two. And if you like, then you keep the eyes closed, of course. Checking on where exactly the hands are in relation to the shoulders is also something that sometimes we feel we might want to do by looking rather than just feeling. Sometimes we're a little bit off there in our proprioception, so that's okay. But then eventually that chin comes towards the left shoulder. So if the eyes were open, you'd look to the front. If they're closed, just that alignment there. And we keep feeling the breath in the body. This is why we're here, to really pay attention, not just to the breath, but every single thing that's going on in the body. Why would we be interested in the outside world? This is all about us connecting with ourselves. And we keep that flow of the breath up as we take ourselves into Trikonasana or triangle pose. It doesn't matter how low that left hand comes. Could be on the ground, but of course doesn't have to. It's about that alignment. Shoulders, hips, everything in one line. Imagining a wall behind us, behind you, behind us. slowly getting ready to release from your triangle and taking yourself down. Right arm comes down. We can, of course, open the eyes for this. Hands to the ground. Drop that right knee and take your time with that. Right leg gets comfortable first. Top with the right foot comes onto the ground, and then we walk that left foot further out. We could come onto the outer edge of the left foot, and hands on the ground or forearms on the ground. Different options. They need to work for us, or the one option that you choose needs to work for you. So find where that is and deepen from there without going too deep too soon, especially not when we're holding for that long. And as always, particularly gently and slowly after this very deep and very long hold, coming onto the hands again and opening up to the left side. You've got the option here of walking that foot further out to the left. Chances are you don't need to. I mean, this is quite a lot for the body to take. We could raise the right foot and reach for the foot with the left hand, opening up the torso, and then we get that lovely stretch into the left shoulder as well. What we don't want with that is to go for the bind just because it's an option, but in the process raising the hips. So keep them nice and heavy. And then as we slowly release, we remember the options that we have here. What's not optional is being fast, so keep it slow. But you could take yourself from here into Padmasana or straight into Balasana. You could start in this mountain and walk it out and stretch out and do whatever feels right here, giving the legs a little shake maybe, and then make your way into child's pose. Or you could, of course, stay in that downward dog or mountain for that whole time that we're holding. And then wherever you are, if you're just watching this on YouTube, this is the first half, and